Good morning, everyone. Round 2, day 3. Yep, that's right. This is 3 days, from the second time that I'm starting this challenge. And we're getting ready to go for a run. Today is going to be close to record highs. I think they're expecting it to get to 111. And I think this is like the worst week of the year. For the first and second week of September and the last 2 weeks of August are usually the worst. But from what I can tell, it looks like this is going to be the worst one. So I'm a little excited about that. So the weather will change. Things will get a little easier for me. But nonetheless, here we go. I'll see you guys in a little bit when I get back. Day 3, round 2, day 3, completed. Today I was struggling. I was thinking about the fact that it was day 3. And I couldn't help to think about almost how defeating it felt to have to reset the starting point and be back at day 3, And in my inner conversation, I had a realization. It doesn't matter if it's day 3. It doesn't matter if it's day 3. It has nothing to do with this challenge. And the other thing is that in processing through that, I realized that holding on to this idea that I'm on day 3 and I really should have been on day, 47. I realized that in holding on to this idea and having this internal conversation, holding on to this failed moment didn't serve me. It's not going to change anything about my challenge of 365 days without a day off. It's not going to make a difference in my transformation. It's only there creating weight in my thoughts. In creating or taking up space in my mind with a negative impact on me regarding this challenge. And as I started having this realization a few minutes into my run, maybe like 10 minutes into my run, I realized that I needed to just simply let it go. And it wasn't easy because the thought just kept coming back. So I started to shift my focus and think about, what am I gonna feel like in 365 days? What if I only have to attempt to do this challenge twice and I get through it and I do it? What will that feel like? And would it feel better to do it the first time you try it? Or would it feel more of an accomplishment if you've actually failed once and got it done the second time you tried it? Or if you failed 5 times and then finally got it done? What would feel more rewarding? The overcoming of a challenge that you were able to do just because you said you were going to do it? Or the overcoming a challenge that took you several attempts to be able to complete? What if? I started asking a lot of what if questions. Like, what if I get it done on round 2? What if I don't? And what if I have to try a round 3? What if I have to do a round 4? What if I get to 150 days and then something happens and I just can't get the 1 day in and I have to start all over? What if? What if I get to 300 days and I have to start all over? And in the process of thinking about this stuff and finding the answers to those questions, I started finding myself connecting to what those feelings would feel like. Like, what if I made it to 300 days and I had to skip a day and I had to start from zero? What would that feel like? And then what if the attempt after that, I actually made it to 365 days? How much of an impact would it have on me to know that I got so close and then failed and then had to do it all over again, but then accomplished it? How rewarding would that feel to me? And how much of a physical transformation would that do for me? And I didn't look at, all of a sudden I stopped feeling like my day 44 wasn't any kind of negative thing. If anything, I started feeling like if it was a positive thing, because not only do I get an extra 44 days towards this transformation, but it's also gonna shift how I'm gonna feel when I complete this. If I complete it in round 2, it's gonna feel to me like, hey, you know what? I tried it, I failed, but I went back. And I think about, in another video I talked about the stories and how we like stories of overcoming. And we don't, stories about somebody who was born into money and spends money and travels. I mean, they might be entertaining, but they're not really captivating. They're boring, right? There's no conquest. There's no achievement. The stories that we like is the underdog, the guy that comes from nothing and he figures out, his niche and he has challenges and, is fighting different types of restrictions and eventually, breaks through the restrictions and he accomplishes something amazing. And those stories are just absolutely captivating. Look, I'm a big fan of the Born Identity series, right? And if the Born Identity was a story about a guy who was an agent and he was an assassin and he was sent to kill people and he just killed people left and right and then, he retired. Okay, maybe it was entertaining, action-packed, whatever, but the story wouldn't be captivating. What makes it captivating is that this guy forgot who he was. He got amnesia. He then is overcoming the challenge of staying alive because he's got a bullseye on himself. And there's CIA operatives all over the world trying to kill him. And once he realizes who he was, he has to overcome. I mean, he goes basically head to head with some corruptive division of the CIA. I mean, you can't get, that's challenging the CIA. I mean, that's just a crazy challenge, right? And so that's what makes the story interesting. It's like how smart and how tactical he is about even when he's confronting the very people that built him, right? It's like the student that confronts his master and manages to defeat his master. That's what makes the story captivating. It makes you want to go back and read it again or watch it again or whatever. And that's the thing, right? So this idea that I failed in 44 days is only making my story, for me, more of a captivating story. Yeah, it would have been entertaining if I would have done 365 days without skipping any days, without having to restart. It would have been like, wow, quite an accomplishment. But realistically, that would have told me that 365 days without a day off just wasn't a challenge enough. If I'm challenging myself to do something and it's truly a challenge, it should be required that those challenges are not easy. If you challenge yourself to make $100,000 a year, but you're already making $90,000 a year, and you know that your skills are in demand, and there's a lot of job openings out there that demand your skills, and you have a niche skill that can make you $100,000 to $120,000 a year, and you get a job that pays $100,000 a year, whoopee, that's awesome. So you put in a few applications and you got a job. That's great. You're making $100,000 a year, but was that really a challenge? No. Your goal was not challenging you to grow. It was just to make a move. And as far as I'm concerned, from 90 to 100,000, that's almost a lateral move, right? It's not a huge jump. It's not, don't get me wrong, it's $10 extra $1,000 a year. I'm not like nodding my nose at that. It's a lot of money, but it's not, it's not, I make $30,000 a year. I want to learn how to make $100,000 a year. I'm going to go learn some skills and overcome some challenges and go to night school and read some books and then go into some corporate job and work my way up and play the corporate game. And then boom, yes, I made it to 100,000. That story to me has more depth to it. Every single goal that we set ourselves to achieve is a good thing. There's this whole terminology about having goals that are SMART, right? They need to be specific, they need to be measurable, relatable, right? I forgot what the A stands for, and then T is it has to be time bound, right? So you have to give yourself some time. I think it's actionable and then time bound. I can't remember. It slips my mind right now. But SMART goals, you can look it up. You can Google what that means. It's basically setting up a goal and have it be specific, have it be relatable to what you're trying to accomplish, have it be measurable. You got to be able to see what's happening as you're getting close, as you're progressing through your goal. And then it has to be time bound. Set yourself to a certain amount of time. So, for example, this challenge, 365 days without a day off. Well, we know we have 365 days, so we know it's got a time, right? We know that we're going to measure and we're going to see because we're doing it every single day without a day off. So you know that you got your day done, right? And it's relatable because in doing so, my goal is to achieve a higher sense of discipline and commitment. And so by doing it, I'm actually building that, right? I'm committed to 365 days. We talk about this a lot in my videos. I talk about this a lot in my videos, So there's that sense of that SMART goal thing in there. But I also think that it's important to think of goals not as something that's achievable, but something that really pushes you towards doing something that maybe you didn't think it was accomplishable. Somebody once told me that if you feel like your goals don't scare you, then your goals are not. If you're not afraid of not being able to accomplish your goals, then your goals are not good goals. You have to make bigger goals. Your goals should really feel scary to you. Like, I can't do that. That's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna attempt to do it, and I'm just not gonna give up until I get it done. That kind of should be your mentality about your goals, because then it takes you to a different place. Then it takes you to pass your level of comfort and to turn certain levels of discomfort into the new norm, right? I talked about when you get up in the morning and you're trying to get up to put on your running shoes and go running, and you have that internal conversation where you're talking to yourself and you're telling yourself, why am I doing this? Oh my God, you know what? This is stupid. Just sleep in a little longer. Or whatever it is, or it's 105 out there. Why are you gonna go running in 105 degree weather? You're insane. Just call it a day, right? You're having this internal, conflict, right? And then you tell yourself no, because this is what we do now. We get up and we run. So let's grab the shoes. Boom, let's go. So this is the new norm. Well, the new norm became the new norm. That area of discomfort, you're converting that area of discomfort as your new norm, right? So when you set goals to achieve something that is intensely difficult, like you almost feel like you're probably not going to be able to make it. You're going to give it your all, but this is an insane goal. But you're going to give it your all day in, day out. Your mindset is, I don't care what it takes. I don't care if it's the last thing I do before I die. I'm getting this done. And you're committed 100% to getting it done. Then what happens is, as you enter into these areas of discomfort, as you enter into these moments where you're having this internal conflict, this internal conversation that's trying to keep you from achieving this goal, you are going to, the more you spend time there, the more you're going to eventually turn that specific space into the new norm. You will adapt. Your mind will basically accept this as the new norm. Okay, we're not leaving this space. This is what it's gonna be. This is my new norm. Okay, cool. This is what we do now. And then you have to push another threshold maybe to get closer to your goal. And then that threshold is uncomfortable until that threshold becomes the new norm. And then progressively you're kind of going from my new norm to my uncomfortable space. This becomes the new norm. And then you go to this other uncomfortable space, and then this becomes the new norm, and then you go to this other uncomfortable space, and you're kind of climbing through these spaces and adapting, converting those new areas into the new norm as you're getting closer to your achievement, to that goal, right? And I think it's important to recognize that, because I think we tend to set goals, and then when we push through a certain amount of discomfort, we don't necessarily understand that we have to stay there until it becomes the new norm. So we push, and then we're just trying to get to the goal without understanding that in order for this process to really kind of become internal, you have to make those spaces the new norm. And so what happens is, in the physical sense, that a lot of people, for example, New Year's Eve, they go inside, or New Year's Day, or the second day in January, they run to the gym and they start a gym membership, and they say, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna get fit, this is it, this is the year where I lose 100 pounds. And they go to the gym the entire month of January. Statistically speaking, every single gym has the busiest month, the month of January into the middle of February. Because I believe that what's happening is that with these people that get their membership, they're gung-ho, they're motivated, this is it, we're doing it, they sign up, they go there, they're pushing through this challenge, but they're not understanding that they have to stay in this challenge until it becomes the new norm. So they start seeing some minor changes in their body. Maybe 2-3 weeks go by, they're starting to see a little bit of a change in their body, and then maybe 6 weeks go by, and they've lost maybe a few pounds, or they lost a few inches, or they gain a little bit more strength, and then they start getting kind of comfortable in those little areas of transformation that they're seeing. But because there's still an area of discomfort, right? That small achievement turns into, I'm doing enough, And since I already gained something out of it, well, why do I have to keep going 7 days a week to the gym? I mean, maybe I just have to go, 4 days a week. And then by the end of February, by the middle of March, I skipped a day here and there, and I go every other day now, and then before you know it, by April, I haven't gone for a few weeks, right? And then by May or June, I regained the weight that I had lost, It's bad. I was going to the gym for a while, but I ended up not doing it anymore. And maybe by August you cancel the membership because we always try to donate to the gym industry, right? We make that monthly donation for a little while before we cancel, because we think that we know deep down inside that we have to go back, that we should go back. So but now we're thinking about that level of discomfort of starting again, and how painful it is in the beginning, and the first 2 weeks is always hard, and eventually we accept the defeat. We go back to our normal pre-January self, and maybe we do it again the next January. And I think part of the reason is because our mindset is just thinking about, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to be committed and I'm going to do good and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But we're not understanding that in order for the transformation to take effect, in order for the actual goal to happen, you have to convert. It's almost like you have to convert this process to become the new norm, like endlessly. It's like you have to perform without a reason to perform. You're not just training for a race, or you're not just training for competition, or you're not just training to achieve a certain amount of weight loss, or you're not just you're just training every day, because that's just what you do. Just like brushing your teeth, you brush your teeth every day because that's what you do every day, right? Otherwise, you have problems with your teeth and cavities and breath issues and what else, right? So you just know that you brush your teeth every morning. You get up, you brush your teeth, you shower, you get dressed, right? Whatever, however your routine is. But at the end of the day, that's the deal. That's your norm, right? So the two thoughts, I guess, that dominated my run today was failure only makes the victory better. A failed attempt increases the satisfaction of the victory. 2, you have to create the space that becomes uncomfortable. You have to convert it into the new norm. You have to perform without reason and make your goals scary. Push the boundaries, bigger than what you think you can do. I never ran for 365 days without a day off. I mentioned before that running is probably my weakest point. I've always been more of a let's go to the gym and lift some weights kind of guy. And running has always kind of taken a back seat, So when I thought about running 365 days, it wasn't an easy goal, but I'm going to do it. I'm committed to do it because I'm committed to do it for myself. And what's funny is that by doing these videos, I'm committed to doing this for my kid. I'm committed to doing this for you. I'm committed to doing it for my friends who are following this channel. I'm committed to doing it for the new people that are following this channel. I am committed to every single person involved in this challenge because I want to set an example of what the thoughts that I think about and how I think about my life. I want to leave this as a depository of my thoughts for my kid for the future. So I'm doing it. There's no question about it. It might take me several attempts, but this is gonna get done. Maybe it'll take me 5 attempts, maybe 3, maybe 10. I don't know. But today was day 3 of round 2. And with that, I'm gonna say goodbye. Thank you so much for following. If you're liking these thoughts, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow.